Welcome to
A Blue Room Podcast.
where a husband and wife duo combines their love of history, pop culture, and the latest drama to bring you a funny, informative, and intriguing podcast. Welcome to our Blue Room.
All right, we're changing it up a little bit today.
We're on our relationship series
Yeah, so
grind.
just a little recap. We got married in November of 2024. We got engaged. It was actually just our 1-year anniversary of being engaged.
On March 11th.
March 11th, 2024. We got engaged, got married 9 months later.
Ladies, this man,
Not for any reason, by the way. We just wanted to get married.
yes, but this man took care of me on our 1-year anniversary of proposal. It wasn't even our 1-year anniversary of marriage or dating or anything. It was the 1-year anniversary of him proposing to me. He bought me flowers. We went golfing together that day. He took me out to a nice restaurant that night. I'm not
Scratch
bragging,
offs.
but I am oh yeah, he did get the scratch offs that we love to do. He won $20. I didn't win anything, but that's okay. What's his is mine.
It paid for a third of our dinner.
Yes. And
Maybe not that much.
I'm not saying all this to brag, but I kind of am, but no, not really. Don't settle. Please never settle for anything less than princess treatment.
Which, speaking on that, I was looking through an article today and I found some topics that I thought would be kind of interesting for us to talk about.
Yes, I have no idea what he's bringing up right now.
Yeah,
so.
we kind of have a unique view on things. Emily is a little bit older than me. Mm-hmm. We had worked together for a year before we even started dating. Mm-hmm. And then once we started dating, it was a pretty fast track. I mean, we didn't really dilly-dally, I don't want to say waste time, because I think if you're in a relationship, you're not ever wasting time. But
I agree.
you know, I think we knew we both wanted, and we went through a lot of things together right away. Mm-hmm. That kind of maybe not tested our relationship, but definitely tested us individually. And so to work through that, I think, showed us pretty quickly what we wanted.
Exactly. And that's the thing. And it's not, you don't want to test your significant other as you're dating or anything, but we went through a lot of things outside of us that did test us that I think made it easier for us to say, I know that this is my person.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first thing is this article talks about being together for the right reasons.
Okay.
So not so much superficial, or it's like, oh, well, we have the look. You know, we have the look that people are wanting to have. And it's like, well, that's not everything.
Sustainable.
Yeah. And also, you know, oh, well, I have a lot of money and you don't have a lot of money, so I'm going to be with you. And it's like, no, that's not the right reasons to be with somebody. Mm-hmm. Especially for marriage. It's not the right reasons.
I also think that this is why we're seeing an uptick in the divorce rate, especially with like celebrities and everything as well. Mm-hmm. Because they get married because they have the right look, or because they think they're in love and they have chemistry on set. So they think that chemistry will transfer to real life. But real life is grocery shopping. Real life is getting sick. Real life is
mortgage payments,
taxes. Yesterday we had to do our taxes and we got a little snippy at each other. Like, that's real life.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of our listeners right now are younger just because of what we do for a living.
Yeah.
My best advice is to not settle and also realize that you're with this person for the rest of your life. You're supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, and that too, I mean, I wouldn't stray away from doing the normal. And what I mean by that is,
tell me what you mean.
Don't stray away from, oh, well, I need to go grocery shopping. I'm just going to run out really quick. I'll let you know when I'm back. Mm-hmm. Like, you and I, very early on, we weren't living together, mm-hmm. but it was like, hey, I need to go to Kroger. Do you want to go with? Mm-hmm. Or, hey, I need to run to Target. Do you want to go with me?
Yeah.
That's the normal. I mean, that's what everyday life is. And I think when you are okay with that and you have fun doing that and you see the person in that setting, I think it changes your opinion on them.
Yep.
Because it's very easy just to get dolled up and to get dressed up to go out to dinner and then say goodbye at the end of the night.
Yeah.
So I think, hey, I'm wearing sweatpants and a sweatshirt.
You saw me in all my real glory.
Yeah, we're going to Target and we look homeless, but
yep,
you know, that's what it is. That's real life.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. So in this article was it them wanting to know what you should be looking for? Like, what are the real reasons?
No, so it was 1,500 couples that have been married for over 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And it was
That's
their
interesting.
best advice to staying happy and staying committed in a relationship.
Yeah. I think we could dive a little bit deeper into what are the reasons that you should choose somebody.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of what this next one goes into.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So this next one says the little things add up to big things.
Okay, I like
And
that.
I think that could be a negative or a positive thing. Mm-hmm. Because I think the good little things are big. You know, they hold the door for me. When I drop something, they come and pick it up. They don't just look at me. I think those are the little things that add up to big things.
I agree.
But I think it could also be a negative thing too of like, hey, they like, I don't know, we go out to dinner and they rip the head off the waiter for forgetting their
I was
ranch
like,
or
where
something.
where are you going with this?
Well, I'm
Yes,
just saying,
okay, I understand.
like those are the little things that you may overlook. Well, it's fine. They just get a little testy with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that can add up to, well, if they're willing to get frustrated or get that upset over a little thing like forgetting ranch, like what is that going to then be in our long-term relationship?
And what patience or what lack of patience will they have with me?
Yeah, exactly.
I think coming from a female perspective, I think first of all, having standards, but also realizing, and what I looked for is how will you be able to take care of me and our future children? And that's not, let me elaborate. We are a team, right? So everything that we tackle, we're supposed to be tackling together. So I wanted to make sure, and you showed me very early on, that you were responsible, that you cared about my day to day, that you listened, because the way that you treat me is the way that you're going to treat our future children. And that was always super important to me. And that's why I think dating is so hard, because a lot of the guys and girls out there aren't all that serious because culturally we're being told we don't have to be.
Yeah, like don't look into the big things, just focus on the right now. And I think that once again, it's one of those things where it sounds like good advice. You know, don't worry about that. You'll worry about that down the road, or everyone has their imperfections. Yes, but that's what this is saying. The little things add up to big things. If you can't show that you're responsible or show that you care for little stuff, that's going to add up to big stuff when you think 5-10 years down the road.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the last one that really stuck out to me was healthy relationships is made up of healthy individuals. And I think this is
I'm really passionate about this.
a tough one because everyone has issues. Everyone has something they're dealing with. And I think that's okay. That doesn't mean that you're unhealthy. But in order to be fully in on a relationship, you have to know what's going on with yourself. If you're overlooking stuff and it's like, well, it's not that, then I think that's an issue.
I agree. I'm so passionate about this because, and I think I can talk about this. This is fine. I had never been to therapy or seen a therapist until I turned 28 years old. And I think that people nowadays need to listen to themselves more. And if you feel like you need to talk to someone, you should.
Yeah.
And so I attribute us meeting and us working out because I was actively seeking help and seeking a therapist who could help me with my day to day that I was struggling with.
Yeah.
And we don't have to get too into it or anything, but a lot has gone on very early on in our relationship and in our marriage. And a lot, my husband is just very well adjusted, like very mentally tough, mentally strong. And I'm so thankful for that because that's how I think it kind of should be a lot of the times. But when he can't be mentally strong and he has an off day or whatever it is, I'm so thankful that I had my therapy and I did the self-work so that I can pick up the slack, and him vice versa. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people get into relationships because of, well, I'm lonely. I just need somebody. And I think that's where you run into issues. It's kind of like how they say, like, having a baby won't fix your issues. Well,
Yeah.
having a relationship won't fix your issues either.
And actually, being in a relationship opens up all of your issues.
Yeah.
And you get to see that you get jealous, or you get frustrated, or you lack patience.
Yeah.
Relationships open up the holes or the wounds that you have in your soul and heart, and in, you know.
Well, it's because especially now you're sharing it with somebody else.
Yep, and
I
somebody
think,
else is getting a front row seat to
Yep.
what you do day to day.
So I thought that was a big one, just because,
It's true. It's something we work on every day.
yeah, until you're ready and until you're mentally there, it's gonna be very difficult to make a relationship work.
And there's a lot in the world that can derail you too. You know what I mean? Like, so my father passed away a month before we got married. And I think for a lot of people, that would have been like, okay, we need to stop. We need to halt the wedding. We need to do, you know what I mean? And for us, we just knew that we loved each other and that we wanted to get married. And we were both in that sound, healthy mind to make that decision. So that's why I think this is such a good point. If you're not in a healthy place, how are you going to make healthy decisions?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I think, here's the thing. There's a million books, there's a million articles. I don't think anybody's one relationship is the same as anyone else's.
No, exactly.
And so, you know, what may work for us may not work for others, but
And that's what I was going to say.
But I really liked these 3 points because this seems universal.
Yes, and I was going to say this too. Being healthy mentally means different things to different people. I think mental health is a spectrum, honestly.
Definitely.
Because for some people, they need to sit back and feel their emotions and really like dig down deep. But for others, they can sit for a second and then they just have to keep going. And so,
and that's what you and I, we found out that we kind of do that differently.
yes.
Like when something bad or something tough happens to me, I'm like, you take your second to, I don't want to say pity yourself, but you take your second to collect yourself, and then you get up and you keep pushing. And you're not exactly that way.
No, I'm not. I need to wallow for a second.
Yeah, you got to sit for a little bit.
Yeah, and so that's been kind of a point of contention early on in our marriage, but it's something that we've talked through, and he gives me moments now, and I also try to buck up a little bit sometimes, you know?
Well, that's the thing is like, so one of the other things on this article said, and I quote, "Get good at fighting." And that was one where I feel like that's not applicable to every situation, to every relationship. Because you and I, we have our tiffs, but to me personally, I don't think it should be healthy for you to get good at fighting your partner.
I know, but I think what they're trying to say is get efficient. Not even this word, but start getting efficient in communication.
See, but that's a way better way of saying it than.
But I know,
get good
but
at
they're
fighting.
trying to do a sound grab,
Yeah,
like
I
get
know,
good at fighting. But
whatever.
But I think that is important. Like we have had some couples in our lives say, "Oh, we're really bad at fighting. We never fight."
Yeah.
And so I feel like for us, that's probably not going to be the case, because we do just have our disagreements here and there. So I think we've gotten good at communicating, listening. We never yell at each other. That's never even been a thing.
Yeah, and that's part of it too, is being respectful when you disagree.
Yes, and that's what I want. Thank you for saying disagree, because it's disagreements. We're not fighting ever.
Yeah.
And then we've said this before in our other podcast, in our other episode, our relationship series, but one of the number one pieces of advice we got through our marriage prep in our church, and like from other people as well, and like from our sponsor couple, was it's not me versus him, it's us versus the problem. And I think that's something that we have to remember. And we also have to remember, and if you're listening and if you're newly married, is that you should want your spouse's good. Yeah. And you should remember that your spouse wants your good.
Yeah, giving benefit of the doubt is big.
And that's something I've had to work on.
Yeah, like
just from my childhood.
Yeah, like our disagreements are not because I think you're dumb or I think you're stupid. It's this is what I think is best for you, and I could be wrong. You could be wrong. We could both be wrong, but
Yeah.
you need to give benefit of the doubt of, well, I am trying to help you. I am trying my best. And I think that's hard sometimes. You get blinded by it, but
It
not
can.
not you.
Yeah.
Just people.
Yeah, just in general.
America. The world.
But one of the other things that stuck with me too, we went to a couples night at our church, and the speaker was talking about how you have to remember that even if you grew up in the same town, which we both did, we both had different childhoods. And we won't touch too much on this because I really want to do an episode on wounds and how your childhood wounds can affect things, because I'm so passionate about it. But my childhood was different than his childhood.
Yeah.
And there were things that were weird about my childhood that he can't even comprehend, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So meeting in the middle and trying not to make the mistakes that maybe our parents made is another thing that I think is important to think about too. And realizing, and why it's good while we don't have kids, to realize that we are on the same team.
Yeah, and especially, I mean, it's things that you're trying to figure out to then make your own family dynamic.
Exactly.
You know, it's things that we can take from both of our childhoods to then create our own family. It's not just, well, we're going to raise the kids the exact way that I was raised.
Yep.
You know, that's what a relationship is you're mixing the two. So, yeah, I mean, I really like this article. We can link it if we want, but
Yeah, I think that'd be good.
it was, yeah.
You had some good things to talk about, honey.
What can I say?
Except you're welcome.
I'm the best.
You are. Okay, that's all we have for you for today. We will see you next week. Bye.
See you.